Take a break from your busy schedule and join Harold Sala for Guidelines for Living.
Centuries ago, the writer of Scripture said, "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver." That's an interesting phrase, apples of gold in pictures of silver. Some think it referred to the lustrous beauty of the apricot amidst the bright foliage paled by the Palestinian sun. Others think that it referred to the beautiful craftsmanship of an apple of solid gold amidst a delicate setting of silver. And certainly the proverb written in the days of the wealthy King Solomon could have meant just that. At any length, the writer is saying that the right word at the right time is indeed a beautiful thing. Words are strange things. They boil over in our hearts, and then when they spill out, they are forever part of the record. Have you ever said, "I take that back," but you really can't? The one who heard you say what you did may forgive you, but he heard you say it and remembers it. Like the water that sinks into the sand, or the snowflake that melts in the river, or the breath of fog that dissipates in the sun, or the flower that has been plucked from the stem. Once a word has slipped from your lips, it cannot be withdrawn. Some have that rare and discerning gift of being able to say exactly the right thing at the right time. Among the few who had that gift was the late Winston Churchill. Apples of gold in pictures of silver. That's what could be said about some of Churchill's words. Do you remember what he spoke to the British people about the heroism of the Royal Air Force at the Battle of Britain? He said, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." He added, "1,000 years from now, all the world will say this was Britain's finest hour." His words in that famous speech told of the darkness of the hour confronting the British people. Few have that rare quality of human locution, being able to say exactly the right thing at the right time. There are ways, however, of learning to cultivate the habit of saying the right thing at the right time. It starts with discipline. Usually, our greatest problem is a lack of discipline. Much of what is said really shouldn't have been said in the first place. "I feel like giving her a piece of my mind," and you have said the wrong thing. Jesus said, "Every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." The philosopher Immanuel Kant once said, "All that one says may be true, but it's not necessary to say all that is true." The book of James advises, "Don't be too eager to tell others their faults, for we all make mistakes." The first guideline is learn to discipline what you say. Guideline number 2, cultivate the habit of sharing a word of encouragement with everyone you meet. Peter Marshall, the gifted Scottish preacher, once said, "A word of encouragement means more than we can possibly imagine." There is much in encouragement, a word of cheer to keep up morale, to give courage. There is much in our world that tears down and destroys. Learn to boost and to build. A few words in a matter of haste can destroy a relationship that it took years to build, end quote. Finally, learn to cultivate a word of testimony, sharing with others God's goodness in your personal life. You don't need to boast, but humbly encourage your neighbor to reach out to the divine strength of Him who knows no weariness.
You've just heard Dr. Harold Sala with Guidelines for Living. If you'd like to listen to the program again, download a copy, subscribe to our devotional, or view other resources, visit guidelines.org. We would like to hear from you too. You can email us at info@guidelines.org. Thanks for listening, and we invite you to join us again for the next edition of Guidelines.